Hey, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today is the second day of my Halloween marathon and today I wanted to show you how I made this fun and easy to make card. So I'm using some distress mixed media cardstock and I'm dipping it in some seedless preserves and some vintage photo. And I went a tone darker because you couldn't really see the vintage photo on this cardstock, so I went with some walnut stain. Some ground espresso, and I keep cleaning in between because I don't want to make ugly colors. So this is some black soot, and I won't color everything precisely on a cardstock. I do want to leave some white space. So this is some more ground espresso. Don't be afraid to use different kind of brownish colors. It will give the card more depth. And this is black soot. Some more black soot. Dabbing of some water off the cardstock. And here you see me using a round blending tool to color the edges with some black soot. I also coloring in the white edges a little bit. Just taping the card down so it will stick in place. And I'm using the Gothic stencil from Holtz. And again with some black soot. When I'm stenciling, I usually stencil in 3 different places, and the only reason why I do it like this is because it's more appealing to the eye. That's the only reason, really. The size of this card will be 12 times 16 centimeter, and the little one, this one, is 13 times 6.5 centimeter. Just taping down the cardstock with some washi tape, and I'm stenciling with some carved pumpkin, and this is a shifter stencil, and it's one of the shifter stencils from Holtz. Just be sure to clean in between so you don't get ugly colors. Here I'm using some black soot, and I shifted the stencil to the right side. And this is the end result. But I still thought it was too light, so I wanted to make it a little bit darker with some vintage photo. So I really don't know why I did this part, inking the edges with some vintage photo, because after this I will be distressing it with the distress tool from Tim Holtz, and it's just, it doesn't add anything. So this is the distress tool. I don't know why I do these things. I really don't know. But hey, that's just me. And when I'm finishing the distress part, I will color the edges with some black archival ink. I felt that the background was a little bit too plain, so I took one of the text stamp. This one comes from the Dearly Departed stamp set, and I stamped with some black archival ink. Just to give it a little bit more interest. These two little pieces come from the Mr. Bones stamp set and from the Dearly Departed. And I just wanted to give them a little bit more color. So I used some antique linen and some vintage photo to make them a little bit more oldie. The skull from Mr. Bones is just such a old stamp, but it's still so cool. I think it's one of my favorite Halloween stamp sets. Some black soot for the edges. So let's move on to Mr. Skull himself. I'm coloring the face with some antique linen. And I'm pressing the ink pad on the glass mat, and I'm picking the color up with my water brush. But if you don't have a water brush, you can use a normal brush as well. Some mustard seed for the teeth. And I will leave one teeth blank, and I will color the blank teeth in some black soot. Here's the black soot for the teeth. Teeth, tooth, whatever. And some candied apple for the eye. Using Tim Holtz's creepy eyes would also be looking pretty amazing, I think. This is some walnut stain for the shading. I'm just scribbling on some color. I'm a terrible colorer. If that is that even a word? Oh gosh. And this is some ground espresso, just a little bit darker than the walnut stain. It's not that I hate coloring, it's just that I'm not good in shading. Some vintage photo. Some more candied apple for the top hat. On coloring. So let's stick everything together. I just took a scrap of old book paper, which I will adhere on the second biggest part from the card. And the excess adhesive, you can remove it with some dry kitchen paper. Sometimes I just forget the words. I don't know what my problem is, but oh well. Just adhere it on the left side. Some more adhesive. And that's why I was very happy that I colored the edges with Archival. No smudging. So here you can see me playing with the images, just to see where I want everything to go. I also discovered that I didn't have any place left for the sentiment, so I decided to put the sentiment inside of the card. The sentiment that I've chosen comes from the bold Frights, and it's a new stamp set from Tim Holtz, and I embossed it on some black cardstock with some white embossing powder. And I layered this card on a piece of black cardstock. Almost done. Yeah, here you can see me sticking down the trick or treat. And this is the finished card. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow, same time, same channel for part 3. Bye bye!